Hello everyone, welcome back to the Blockman editor tutorial. In these videos, we will give you a complete introduction to the Blockman editor. In this video, we will introduce the part constraint, how to use the hinge. Enter the editor, and let's start looking at a scene where the door panel opens when the entity pushes on it, and closes automatically when the entity leaves. The effect of opening and closing the door panel in the scene is achieved through the hinge. Next, let's see how to achieve this effect using hinges. First, place a white part in the scene. Adjust it to the floor, and check the anchor property. Then, place another yellow part on top of the white part, and adjust it to the shape of the door panel. Next, click the Constraint button in the top menu bar, to open the drop-down menu and select Hinge. At this point in the scene, there will be a blue dot, that follows the movement of the mouse. This dot is the anchor point of the hinge. Move the mouse to the yellow part, and click the left mouse button to add the anchor point to the yellow part. At this point, a second anchor point will appear on the mouse. Move the mouse to the white part, click the left mouse button, and add it to the white part again. This way the hinge is successfully added. When adding the hinge, we use two anchor points. To differentiate them, the first anchor point that appears is called the main anchor point, and the second anchor point that appears is called the connection anchor point. When the hinge is successfully added, you can see that a hinge constraint appears below the door part in the game resources view. This is the hinge. The effect of the hinge is to add a rotation axis between the two parts, allowing the part connected by the anchor point to follow the rotation of the hinge. From the previously shown effect, the door panel's rotation axis is on one side of the door, so we have to adjust the position of the hinge. Click on the hinge in the game resources view, and the properties of the hinge are displayed in the properties view. We can move the position of the hinge by adjusting the coordinates of the main anchor point and connection anchor point. Here we change the parameters of world coordinates of the main anchor point and world coordinates of the connection anchor point to move the hinge to the edge of the door panel. When adjusting the coordinates of anchor points, you will find that there are two types of anchor coordinates: relative coordinates and world coordinates. Relative coordinates is the position of the anchor point in the object coordinate system, and world coordinates is the position of the anchor point in the world coordinate system. You can try experimenting with them to find out more about what it does. After the hinge position adjustment is completed, click the Run button to enter the operation mode. When the entity pushes the door panel opens. When the entity leaves the door panel does not close automatically, which is different from the effect we want to achieve. Next, let's achieve the effect of making the door panel close automatically. To achieve the effect of making the door panel close automatically, we need to use the spring property of the hinge. Check the Enable Spring option, and then some new properties will appear in the Properties view. Let's see what they do. Enter a value of 3 in the stiffness property, and enter the operation mode. After the entity leaves the open door panel, the door panel will automatically spring back, but cannot return to the closed state. This is because the stiffness property serves to add a force to the hinge, allowing the part to rotate around the hinge in a full-back manner. In order for the door to stop quickly when rotating, we also use the damping property. Enter the value 1.5 in the damping property of the hinge and enter the operation mode. You can see that the door panel closes automatically after the entity leaves the open door panel. This is because the effect of the damping property is to add a force to the hinge that prevents it from rotating, allowing it to stop quickly when it rotates. Now, we have achieved the effect of making the door panel close. Add the door panel to the prepared scene, and let's see how it does. When the entity pushes the door panel opens, and when the entity leaves, the door panel closes automatically. Through the use of the hinge, we can also achieve other effects, such as automatic rotating doors, pinning table mechanism, etc. If you are interested in learning more about hinges, please check the user manual. That's all for this video. We hope it can help you on your way to becoming a great creator. If you want to know more about the editor, you can comment below the video or post on the official forum. See you in the next video.